I watched college football all weekend. And it was terrible. It was just bad. BYU should have made the playoff. Utah should have made the playoff. At this rate, I don't know, put Baylor in. Texas Tech will win the national championship. Probably going away. Just no one's good this year. I'm frustrated. The sport that I love is dead. Oh, and this is Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Locked On Big 12. It's a Locked On Baylor crossover. Cam Stewart's here. I don't know why. I care about nothing at this point. This just sucks, man. Well, we're going to start with BYU, Utah, Arizona, Colorado. I don't know. They get views. Let them in. Let's let whoever gets views in. Let them play. Let the kids play. That's where we'll start. Then I have some thoughts, some pretty serious thoughts, scathing thoughts as well about Sam Levitt, Rocco Becht, Josh Hoover. Traitors. The word traitors will be thrown around. Is it appropriate? I don't know. We'll see. You can test the waters with me. And then Texas Tech will maul Oregon. Don't go on that trail. Don't do it because the Red Raiders are going to end your football season. If you hit subscribe, we get to keep our jobs. I watched a lot of football this weekend. Or lack thereof, if I may, or lack thereof. We saw the mighty Texas A&M Aggies. You were 3 points away from matching their point total Saturday, and you drank like 7 beers in our nation's capital.
Yeah,
and you almost did what the Aggies were able to do against Miami, who lost to Louisville and SMU. If I'm a BYU fan, a Utah fan, a Big 12 fan in general, a fan of anybody who ESPN has failed to cover at all this year, then they have their little invitational, the ESPN invitational, the playoff. I'm mad. I'm sad. There is a way to do it. There's a right way to do it. There's a format to do it correctly. This is not it. This is not it. Please stop doing this. Cameron Stewart.
I want to ask about the format in a minute. Okay. But mainly, like my entire take on the weekend is the bad people in college football had a great weekend. Like the worst opinions in college football had a great weekend, man. With how that shook out, it was not good for those of us toting the little guy. Let's just say that. And you did get a dandy between two SEC teams on Friday night. So I'm interested though in this format. What's the perfect format?
By the way, when you say dandy, does that include the punter throwing the ball into the ground?
Oh yeah.
Does it include?
Oh yeah, it does.
Chip shot missed field goals.
Yeah.
And
this is good. This is good because this goes into my other theory. Are we miscategorizing the rest of college football, or are we miscategorizing the SEC? Is the SEC the best in college football at the top? Probably, but is it the SEC of 10 years ago?
No,
I don't think it is, man. I don't think it is, and so that affords opportunities to teams the ilk of both Oklahoma and Alabama.
What if the SEC is just not that good? Have we considered that at this point?
It's got to be up there. The top 2 teams all year were not SEC teams. I think Georgia's legit.
Yes, agreed.
I do. And I thought last year Georgia and UT were legit. But like it's kind of damning on all of us who didn't have second thoughts about Oklahoma or Alabama, or even, I know their day was much better, but even in Ole Miss, like that, we just took it for granted that they were all SEC teams that had pretty good years, unlike we would for other conferences.
I am convinced the SEC is not that good. The football that I watched this weekend was an example of that. I'm convinced again that if you're a BYU fan, a Utah fan, a fan of a team the system is rigged against, that you should be unhappy that Tulane and James Madison were there. Because I get it. There is, and I had this conversation with literally Gary Patterson, the guy who borderline invented the concept of small team beat big team.
Yeah.
Like he was right there in the trenches with Kyle Whittingham. Remember the name? He was in the trenches with guys like Coach Peterson at Boise State, who beat Oklahoma. And I think, if I may be so bold, that Boise State team was a bit of a flash in the pan. I think they win the game off of I don't see them winning multiple games in the college football playoff 12-team format, win a national championship. However, if I may, I think TCU was. I think that TCU team that beat Wisconsin makes a lot of noise. Utah that beats Alabama makes a lot of noise. I like those teams with staying power. And guess what? What those teams have in common is they were top 10 teams. The nation looked at them. Even the computer, Cincinnati, when they played Bama in that close playoff game. It wasn't close, closer than most of them. The computer looked at them and said, you are good enough to be here. James Madison was, we're forced to invite you here. We have to, because of the rules, make you do this. No one saw them as a legitimate threat. No one saw Tulane as a legitimate threat. I think the format moving forward makes the most sense at it. And hold me back here. I like the way the FCS does it. I like the way 24 does it. And you start to say, I want 16. In round 1, we eliminate 8 and we get to the true 16. But it gives James Madison at least a chance to be at the table. And I think James Madison versus, say, Vanderbilt in round 1 at least goes better than James Madison against Oregon. I think round 1, when you see Duke play a playoff game against BYU, that goes better than what we saw with Tulane and Ole Miss. I like 24. Proof of concept is there. Montana State rocked. Give me much more of that and much less of, BYU is the 11th best team in the country. They're not in the 12th-team playoff.
I get what you mean. I do. And I think BYU puts up a better fight than any of those smaller teams this weekend, Oklahoma included. I'm including OU in that. But the problem I have, where I almost stopped myself, is this is the only sport. This is the only sport in our country that we do stuff like this. Like in every other sport, there's good enough parameters in place, like division winners in the NFL. Every year, there's a division winner in the NFL that is worse than one of the teams that doesn't get into the wild card spot. Every year we see that, and we're okay with it, and that's how it is. How many teams does baseball put in now? Like, it's ridiculous. They put in like 11 teams, man. And college football specifically is the only one that just can't quite get it right, and no one can agree on. And it's the only one where we tried to shun the little guy entirely, and then people are now trying again, obviously. But I agree, like BYU is putting up a better fight than those guys. Like, I don't hate the little man, which is a low bar.
I don't hate the little man.
I know you do. I know you hate the little guy.
I want them to have
establishment Drake Tall.
I'm not a service to the interest here. I'm none of those things. I don't think that Pappy O'Daniel should have been reelected. Brother Roart, though, because I wasn't with the establishment there toward the end. Homer Stokes showed his true colors, though, so I probably would have voted for Pappy O'Daniel if I had to. In this case, college football needs reform. I want to be the reform candidate, because what we're seeing doesn't work, and I want the little man to be there if they look like, and I know I'm doing the eye test thing, but if they look like they deserve to be there, and they did not this weekend. Traitors. Rocco Becht, are you a traitor for leaving Iowa State? Sam Levitt, Josh Hoover, Sawyer Robertson? Kidding. Joke. Not a traitor. Actually, complete opposite. This is Locked on Big 12, Locked on Baylor. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is exactly where I go when I'm trying to place a bet on the NFL, a live bet specifically. I go to FanDuel and say, FanDuel, I just saw the quarterback for XYZ team get knocked out of the game in the second quarter. I think the opposing team's going to win. And FanDuel says, fine. Make a bet on it. Live spreads, money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked in every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your live NFL bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you with FanDuel. So the thing happened again. The kids keep doing it, where they transfer from the school and they say, once a Cyclone, always a Cyclone. Forever a Cougar. A Ute man I am. Every man a Wildcat, myself included. And here's the problem that I have with that. Here's the problem that I have with Rocco Becht. Here's the problem that I have with what Rocco Becht said. Cameron, I do not think I would go as far as to call them a traitor. I do not think I would go as far as to call these guys spineless and that they're cowards. But I need you as fans to understand, if Rocco Becht, if Will Howard, if Sam Levitt gave you a really good run on a Big 12 championship and something to be proud of, you can be proud of that, proud of them, root them on. But you do not have to continually choke their chicken for the rest of their career in college football. On their way out the door, you can certainly say thank you. But when Rocco Becht says, forever a Cyclone, you're actually not. It's odd. In fact, you're currently anything but the opposite of. You literally just told me in the 700-word graphic you posted that you're not a Cyclone, and you're specifically leaving the Cyclone. You're announcing to the world, I am no longer wanting to be a Cyclone, with the caption, forever a Cyclone. And it will drive me up a wall every time I see it. I think it is the stupidest thing in the world. I think these kids must be stopped. I think someone needs to handle this. Someone needs to handle this, because we can be proud of them and happy, but just because they did a good thing doesn't mean you need to coddle them on their way out the door. They are leaving you. Man, I'll always be a Bear. Nope. Actually, you just said in the graphic, I don't want to be a Bear anymore. Which the local Baptist church told me was a good thing, by the way.
It's like being at your college orientation and just saying, I'm a high schooler. I am forever a high schooler, man. Like, it is, you're not. Like, you just aren't anymore. And it's kind of a new thing to college sports in a lot of ways, as vitriolic as the sport can be. Like, that is very much a pro sports feeling and phenomenon of like, this guy doesn't play for me anymore. Like, if they win something, like, he wasn't a D-bag, like, good for them. But like, you don't have to root it on, in very rare instances that does happen. But really, this is something that it's one of the adjustments we now have to make.
Also, if I may, JJ Watt, like, there are exceptions to this of, you gave me a lot of your career, enough
Tom
of
Brady.
It, not 2 years.
I did it with Tom Brady.
And Brett Favre. Brett Favre's almost like a great example of people immediately saying, okay, we hate you. Like,
the good old days, man.
There are better examples of people leaving their organization and the fan base going, great, we don't like you anymore, which I personally like about sports fans that are in the pro level.
It's great sports. Yeah. And we obviously, we can see that hatred from other side to other side, but like, for us, the fan, like, it doesn't matter, dude. Like, Baylor is in such a bad spot right now, and I just like do a show about them every single day because they're your alma mater. Yeah. Like, that's your team. Doubt. You know what I mean? And when this starts happening in the transfer portal, like, I think we both agree it's like a good power to the players kind of thing. But these are one of the things that you have to get used to. And that's not good. Like, I'm not saying that's just like, oh, that's a great thing. We just got to get used to it and it'll feel better. No, it sucks. It's kind of not what college sports is supposed to be.
It's not what I want it to be. No.
Well, we have to find this weird, mushy middle.
Mushy, that's the line.
Yeah.
The average 20-year-old today is so much older than a 20-year-old in college football even 10 years ago. Like, these guys are making more money than you. They're making more money than me. These are professional athletes who are willing themselves onto the trade block, who are willing themselves into free agency to specifically leave the team that you love. And again, I want you to know Will Howard was a very good Kansas State quarterback. I'm not going to take that away from Will Howard. Rocco Becht has, his top 5 in like every category at Iowa State. And he was with Iowa State when they won 10 games the first time. And he stayed with Matt Campbell. But then what did he do? He left. He Next season, Brennan Sorsby will have a different logo on the front of his jersey, and it will not say Bearcats. It will not say Cincinnati. He will be actively trying to beat them, wanting them to lose in the heat of battle. You cannot say, I am a Cyclone forever. Also, if I play the Cyclones, I want to beat them mercilessly. Those two things cannot exist together.
It almost feels like, we talk about like those maybe two handfuls of programs that college football is really about at the end of the day. Like it's a sport for these specific programs.
Right.
They feel like the only ones who are going to have happy endings with players. Yeah.
Nice.
Came out wrong.
Which we learned.
No, you have
from multiple programs, Rick Pitino's included.
ACC football, Cleveland Browns. Anyway, no. What I mean by that is
you're gonna leave the Boston guy.
You have guys who have these all conquering careers, and they're just not going to end at those schools. Like thinking of the Big 12, like LaDainian Tomlinson would have played his last year at Ohio State or Georgia.
Yeah.
Like how weird is that? Or whomever, Alex Smith, number one pick of the draft out of Utah. He's finishing it at Miami. It's like, it's just a weird thing that used to be we used to be so protective of, Brian Bosworth on the sideline this weekend. Could you imagine him not playing at Oklahoma? Is that
Caleb Williams? Always a Sooner, baby.
Always, just
and
like
that's
Lincoln,
why I do appreciate the SEC fan bases and large fan bases do this pretty well. They lose their guy and they give him a double bird. Like, great.
The second try to run him off the road on the way to the airport.
Yeah, the second Caleb Williams left. It's like we hate you now, and it doesn't have to be that aggressive. You thank the player for what they've done, and there are varying scenarios. Gary Bohannon, he was forced out by the coaching staff. Like, my bad. Like, sorry, G-Bo. Rooting for you.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, on that same token, like, Baker Mayfield was kind of forced out by the staff at Tech. And you saw the shirts when he came back to Lubbock. But that's perfectly in play, though. Like, that's what college sports is.
Baker also never said always no,
that's true.
Always a Red Raider. He didn't have the fancy graphic.
In fact, he kind of went the opposite way. He was like, I'm a lifelong OU fan. This is where I want to be anyway.
Do you think after he allegedly threatened to shoot up the coaching staff that DeQuan Finn gets to have a going away graphic at Miami of Ohio?
Always a Red Hawk, man.
If you threaten to kill members of a football program, do you still get can Sharon Moore post a graphic?
Does he get a tribute video?
Do we get a statue?
Does he get a tribute video when he's coaching Purdue in a couple years?
Do we get a statue?
Northern Illinois. He's not coaching in the Big Ten.
Coming up, Texas Tech will maul Oregon. I'm tired of pretending
TCU
otherwise.
has a Baylor coach and as a statue on their campus.
Honestly, Sharon Moore, Dave Bliss, Art Briles. What could go wrong? Okay.
Statues wearing high heels.
Ian McCaw. Honestly, first time having this thought. Mac Rhodes. You get to add him to the list, man. It's awesome.
CFP chair.
It is foolproof at Baylor. It is incredible how good the Bears are at just some shoddy characters. Coming up, Texas Tech will maul Oregon. Today's show is brought to you by GameTime. If you want to see the mauling up close and personal, bring your children, force them to watch between the Red Raiders and the Ducks, then you're going to want to go to GameTime. Nothing like college football. Tailgates, packed stadiums, being right in the middle of it. And now, Texas Tech, Oregon, postseason CFP. You can experience all this in just a few taps. Open the GameTime app, look at upcoming college football games, and see just how cheap GameTime can make it for you to see Tech play those Oregon Ducks. The zone deals stand out. Pick the section. GameTime picks the seats. You save even more. Seeing college football tickets starting as low as $25 makes it easy to plan your game weekend. Go to GameTime. Use the GameTime app. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, code LOCKEDONCollege. $20 off. Download GameTime. Download the app. Do it today. I would not be scared of Oregon. And that could be a wild thing for you to hear. today on the podcast that you are consuming, Locked On Big 12. They beat William and Mary this weekend, and Mary failed to show up. They beat James Madison. We saw a whole lot more Madison than we saw James.
I was gonna say, you had it. You already had it. Like,
yeah,
the only other school in the country that you already had it. But
I wanted two of them in there. I really wanted to.
You know what? That's fine.
I was working my way. I was building myself time to figure out how
Washington
I wanted to
pose and you only had Lee.
The James Madison one.
Elliot.
I am, after watching that game, here's what I thought. I saw Texas Tech do this all season long to actual football teams, to Big 12 football teams, to Oregon State, who is better than James Madison, probably.
And recent competition to Oregon.
I watched Texas Tech look more confident. I'm more confident about Texas Tech because of how they played BYU than I am the way that Oregon played James Madison. The fact that the Duke scored over 20 points, that's not good. The fact that Oregon, as much as it felt like, okay, James Madison's out of this game, Oregon just like from kicking field goals to get, like there's a defining point early on where it's 13-3. The Dukes have the ball at the 5-yard line. We were this close to 13-10.
For sure. The defense did not impress me on Saturday against James Madison, and that's a good offensive team. They like run that tempo and all that. I thought they had a great scripted first drive in the first quarter. They only came away with 3 points. So, yeah, it just came down to a couple of plays defensively. But they did score on their first 7 drives.
Which is good. People are telling me that's good.
But I guess to meet you in the middle, Tech obviously makes that.
That's where I was going to go next. Like, have you met the Texas Tech Red Raiders?
Defense is so much better than James Madison's, man. I mean, so much better. So I think they're obviously making it a closer game than James Madison is. I know that's a crazy take. And I probably like Tech in this game.
Tech goes on the road against top 15 Utah, 34-10. On the road, top 20 Houston, 35-11. Yeah, backup quarterback Will Hammond, who tore everything. And
Hamburger.
Now Sorsby will have to come in and do the bidding. Texas Tech playing against BYU, who's number 7 at the time, 29-7. UCF, who is better than James Madison, 48-9. West Virginia, who is better than James Madison, 49-0. BYU, neutral site, 34-7 against the number 11 team in the country. Like, this reminds me, can I cook for a second? Are you ready for this?
Please, chef, take it away.
Did you eat today? Because you're going to like this.
No, just kidding. I had some great chicken parm.
Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss. Who do they usually play game 11 of their schedule?
Georgia State.
Could we say the James Madisons of the world?
I guess, if you want to get political.
Como se dice mid-major. And then who always performs terribly in those Week 12 games against a bad Auburn team, a bad Mississippi State team, a middling Georgia Tech team? Could it be the SEC juggernauts?
Not usually.
Yeah, well, it was this year and has been the last few years, where these teams are in Week 12 failing to perform because in the middle of their, oh no, tough gauntlet, SEC, they have to pause to play Mercer.
Yeah.
Oregon, in the middle of their brutal, awful gauntlet against Iowa and Washington, as good as they are, will have to pause its schedule to play James Madison and beat them by 40 points, 30 points. That is a tell to me that where an Ohio State last year got better by beating Tennessee, you saw them beat the brakes off Tennessee in round 1 of the playoff at Tennessee, and then go on to win the national championship at Ohio State and go on to win the national championship. Thank you. Number 8 versus number 9 is what there was. Yeah. You saw that last season, not even close, non-competitive game, but they played against a power school. They were still in gear. Oregon just had the proverbial chicken parm of the college football season.
I don't even know.
They gobble that up, and they didn't get any better. They didn't get any better this week. They didn't stay in gear. They didn't stay in check. And Texas Tech has been working nonstop, probably solely scouting Oregon.
Well, Joey McGuire pretty much admitted as much a couple weeks ago. He was like, yeah, we're kind of looking at Oregon for that. I think he said, like, Oregon's probably the favorite there. Yes. Yeah, I mean, you did go against a team that is a conference champion and had 3 weeks to prepare for you. You give anything to that? James Madison?
When it's James Madison, I don't think so. I'm sorry.
I want to stick up for James Madison, but you know what really bugs me is they have an awesome logo. The Bulldog
Dukes, yeah.
with the crown and the cape.
The crown. Yeah.
And you see their helmet?
I did.
JMU. Wow. Got it. I just think of these schools that are just so scared to go with a mascot logo because people won't remember them. You know, UT doesn't have that problem, but apparently James Madison does. So as much as I want to stick up for James Madison, that rubbed me the wrong way.
You smell coward.
Rubbed me the wrong way.
This is the same team, I have it on good authority, multiple sources have now confirmed, that took Lime scooters from their campus in Virginia all the way to Eugene, Oregon.
Did see that reported, yeah.
Linemen in the front, linemen in the back to fend off the wild animals. And you're calling them cowards because of the helmet decal.
It's tough to argue with all that.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Now,
and what's crazy is how slow Oregon looked there. That game.
Yeah, it is. It is. And maybe that's why.
Be like, these idiots.
Texas Tech will have a very good chance. Oregon allowed 20 points to James Madison. Texas Tech allowed 7 to BYU.
What's that adjusted for inflation? 20 points to James Madison. 34 to Texas Tech. Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to do some SEC hypotheticals here?
That's like 40 to Texas Tech. If Texas Tech's on the field in Eugene, I'll let them have it.
That's like 3 for Texas A&M.
Yeah, it is. 10 points to Utah. They allowed a whopping 7 to BYU. 14 combined. In 8 quarters of football, they allowed 14 points. That potent BYU offense. And James Madison scored 20 plus against Oregon in Eugene, on the road in Eugene. I don't believe in Oregon. I do truly believe in Texas Tech. I will obviously be breaking this game down ad nauseum over the course of the next 8 days, 10 days, whatever it is. I just don't think Joey McGuire, the interior defensive line, for the amount of times Oregon tried to get the ball to the outside to win with speed, Tech doesn't have to put 5 guys. 8 guys, 10 guys in the box. They can put 2 guys in the box and then just cover the outside. Those trailer park girls that like to go around the outside, Texas Tech's ready for them.
That's before your time.
I was around for that. That's Cameron Stewart of Locked On Baylor. This has been and always will be. A lot of stuff going on at Baylor this week. You're going to want to tune in to Locked On Baylor as much as you can.
The Baylor Wildcats, the Kansas State Exodus. Oh, man, is that portal heating up. The Joe Klanderman pull. When that phone rings, sometimes it's just white noise. But when Joe Klanderman's calling, that's got a different ring to it. That's got a different pull. When Joe Klanderman calls, you answer.
And I've been telling people, too, Baylor needs a defense like Kansas State had this year. They were one Kansas State defense away. You know, that Army loss, don't blame them. That Utah game, give up 50, don't blame them.
Utah's
We've all been there. Baylor needs that. That's Cameron Stewart.
Army, deceptive, man.
At Real Cam Stewart. This has been, it always will be, Locked On. Thanks for making our shows your first listen every single day. It's crossover Baylor and Dose Grande.